Hey YouTubers, Trad Archer here. I am at the rifle range, and the first thing I wanted to do is show you that this gun is safe. There is no one else on the range, just me. I guess you found your way here by searching Handi-Rifle youth, possibly, and you landed on my YouTube channel. So what we have here is the Handi-Rifle youth. This one is in 243. You can see it has a very short length of pull. It's about 12¼ inches. I do have the adult stock for it that will give you about 14 inches of pull. The geometry of the youth rifle doesn't have Monte Carlo cheek piece, but as you move your face further up the stock, you actually do get higher, but you'll have to teach your youth that shoot this gun to get good cheek weld as best they can. It has a really short barrel. It is a very thick barrel. I don't know that you'd call it a bull barrel. This one is one without sights. This is actually my second gun, and the first one I had was just like it, and it was probably more than 10 years ago. It was probably more like 12 or 13 years ago, and my son used it to deer hunt with, and we had been through lots of different guns, and this gun was the one that worked best for him because he was fairly small framed, and I didn't want to handicap him with trying to reach for an adult gun. I see a lot of the parents out there, dads out there, giving their kids adult guns that they just can't shoot. I mean, their eye is way back here on the scope because and they're reaching really far for the gun because the stock is too long. So this is one of the best ones you can get because the stock is so short. Other things that make it such a great gun for a youth is the recoil on a 243 is tolerable. It's got a hammer, and the trigger is very safe. So the only thing about that is if you get your kid out there and he's got buck fever, you'll get the old 10-pound trigger thing, and you'll just have to coach them through that, because if not, this trigger is going to feel like it weighs 10 pounds, and they'll look to see if the safety's on or is it even cocked. Because my son, that's why I know, and I've done it myself before, just coach them through that. Just make sure they understand they got to pull that trigger. But it's a safe trigger. It's not going to go off on you. On this particular gun, you'll see that I have the excuse me, the pollen out here this spring is terrible in North Carolina, but I've got this scope mounted just as low as I could possibly get it. And you have knowing the Handi-Rifles, you probably understand that requires some hammer modifications so that it clears. So what I did is I bobbed the hammer, and then I put on the hammer extension, but I put it on the left side for right-handed so that when you shoot you can actually reach over to the other side and pull it back. And one of the reasons why I did that is because you have to be careful. It could hit the action release button on this side over here, so you have to be careful if you get too low it'll hit that. So that's another reason why it's on the other side. So we first got the gun, not this gun, but the one before we had. We struggled getting it to shoot accurately. I wanted to shoot 100 grain bullets on whitetail. All the factory ammo for 100 grain just shot terrible. We're talking like 7 or 8 inches at 100 yards. I got some hand loads, and I got a guy to look at it. His name is Joel Pendergraph. He is a long-range gunsmith, gun builder. He held a world record at one time for 1,000 yards with something, an unlimited rifle, I think. But he knows what he's doing. So he had hand-loaded the bullets I bought for me, and first couple times I shot it, knocked my arm off, and even opened the action a couple times. So that ammo was way too strong. So I got him to reload some more for me, and he said that he'd gotten bullets a load about as slow as you could safely go. Had the chamber measured, had everything seated just correctly, and 2 different loads that we got were we shot. When I say we, my son at the time was in 7th grade. He actually shot it better than I did. He got less than 1.5, just under 1.5 inch group at 100 yards with it. So we were pretty pleased with it. He shot a deer with it. He may have shot more than 1 deer with it. But as he grew, of course, he grew out of that rifle and got into other rifles. Now, I have a grandson now. I just love him to death. And he's 3, and I've already bought him another one because bought him one because, of course, they're not made anymore. I picked this one up probably 3 years ago. I paid $225 for it, and my intent was that this would be his first rifle, and so it's a good one because, like I said, it's just perfect for a kid. I also knew it was very versatile, so on eBay I bought a 410 barrel, and I had it drilled and tapped for the scope base. So when he gets old enough, we'll put a tube red dot scope on it, and he'll be able to shoot turkeys out of a blind with it using 410 TSS. Now this particular gun has been shot with the TSS, and it's only good to about 25 yards with this particular barrel. Now I don't know if it's a possibility that you can have a special choke, extended choke put into it to get better patterns out of it, like the Savage, or not, but I ought to be able to get a bird into 25 yards for him to be able to shoot it. So there you have it. If you are looking for a gun for your young hunter, we're talking 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and especially if they're small in stature, don't handicap them with an adult gun that has a stock that's too long for them. Get them one that they can fit, they can carry it themselves, because this gun is not that heavy, and it's safe for them. And so that's kind of what you get in this Handi-Rifle. Problem with that, though, is they're not made anymore. So you have to do your best to find them used, and sometimes they'll bring top dollar. Hopefully I'm not driving the market up. I got lucky to get this one for $225, and I hope you're able to find one for your young hunter also. Thanks for watching.